Many elderly people are accustomed to regular numbness in their legs, a slight tingling in the mornings, a feeling of cold, as if the leg has fallen asleep. At first, this seems like a minor issue, but over time the symptoms become increasingly persistent. The muscles begin to feel stiff, and there is a heaviness when walking, as if the legs are not obeying. Sometimes even putting on shoes becomes difficult, as the toes lose sensitivity. Then pain begins, a pulling, burning sensation that intensifies by the end of the day. What is most frightening? The lack of understanding of the causes, as the person has not fallen, has not been injured, and has not overexerted themselves. It seems that something in the body is starting to malfunction. Relatives often say that it is just age or vascular problems, or that it is simply due to sitting for too long. However, behind these words may lie more serious issues. The tingling and the feeling of cold in the legs are always signals. This means that nerve conductivity is impaired, circulation has worsened, or the muscles have lost tone. In most cases, the problem is related to several factors at once: a sedentary lifestyle, varicose veins, vitamin deficiencies, hidden inflammation in the joints. All of these affect the condition of the legs. Add to this age-related sensitivity reduction and impaired tissue nutrition, and you get constant discomfort that interferes even with sleep, as the condition of the legs affects so much: balance, mobility, even the functioning of the intestines and bladder. Unfortunately, many explain it away as fatigue or old age and do not seek medical advice. Meanwhile, this may indicate the onset of diabetic neuropathy, chronic ischemia, degeneration of the lumbar nerves, or compression of the sciatic nerve. All of this is not just unpleasant, but also dangerous. It is from such seemingly insignificant symptoms that falls, injuries, and disabilities begin, and in some cases, even strokes. However, there is good news. At early stages, while there are still no serious disturbances, it is possible to significantly improve the condition with simple, accessible means. One such remedy is a common pharmacy product, familiar to many but rarely used. It does not require a prescription, is inexpensive, and when used correctly, can improve circulation in the legs, restore sensitivity, reduce swelling, and even alleviate inflammation. Before explaining how to use it, please pay attention to the importance of timely care for your health. Castor oil is familiar to many from childhood. It is associated with an unpleasant taste and outdated treatment methods. However, few consider that this thick, heavy oil has unique properties, especially for the legs and particularly for elderly people. Castor oil is not just a laxative, as many believe. It is a natural stimulant of circulation, promotes regeneration, and reduces inflammation in soft tissues. Its composition contains ricinoleic acid, which has a powerful anti-inflammatory effect. It penetrates the skin, improving microcirculation, relieving swelling, and softening dry and tense skin. However, the most important thing is that it restores the nutrition of nerve endings. Often, problems, for example, in the legs, are not related to blood vessels, but to a disruption in the transmission of nerve signals. Regular use of castor oil gently restores these processes. Moreover, castor oil warms, retaining heat as it penetrates deep into the tissues and creates a light compression therapy effect. This is especially relevant for elderly people who have impaired thermoregulation and feel cold in their legs even in the summer. Warm castor oil enhances local blood circulation, improves the tone of capillaries, and promotes muscle relaxation. After such simple care, the legs become softer, warmer, and more sensitive. There is another important aspect. Castor oil has the ability to draw out toxins from the tissues, which is particularly beneficial in cases of chronic inflammation and stagnation. It acts as a natural drainage, softening the tissues and reducing tension, thus aiding in the removal of decay products. At the same time, it does not irritate the skin, does not cause dependency, and is suitable even for very sensitive areas. Therefore, castor oil is often used in folk medicine for neuropathy, arthritis, and venous drainage disorders. This is especially relevant in older age, as after the age of 60, many pharmacy medications can have side effects. Natural oils can act gently and deeply. It is only important to know how to use them correctly so that they truly provide help and do not remain useless on the shelf. Now we will explain how to apply castor oil to relieve and improve sensitivity and ease the condition of the legs at home. For castor oil to truly be beneficial, it is important not just to apply it to the skin, but to do so correctly. In this case, its action becomes more effective, penetrating deeper, improving blood circulation, and activating tissue sensitivity. The simplest and most reliable method is to rub the oil into the skin with light, yet prolonged movements, starting from the toes and ending at the knee. It is best to do this in the evening when the muscles are relaxed and the body is ready for recovery. Take a small amount of oil, approximately 1 teaspoon for each leg. Slightly warm it in your palms or in a water bath, but do not overheat. The oil should be warm, but not hot. Then, slowly distribute it over the entire surface of the foot, heel, arch, calf, and shin. Do this smoothly, without pressure, but with continuous upward movements to stimulate venous drainage and assist the lymphatic system. After applying the oil, you can wrap your legs in cotton fabric or put on soft socks to enhance the warming effect and help the active ingredients penetrate deeper. If desired, you can use a heating pad or place your legs on a pillow to improve fluid drainage. This procedure takes only about 10 minutes, but already after the first week of regular use, many notice a reduction in numbness, a decrease in swelling, and overall improvements in well-being. It is important to remember that effectiveness is achieved only with a systematic approach. However, using it will only provide temporary relief and will not solve the problem completely. Nevertheless, if this is done every evening for at least 2 weeks, the muscles will become more flexible, the skin more sensitive, and circulation will noticeably improve. It is essential to combine this with light physical exercises, or at least a short evening walk, to assist the body in the recovery process. Some add a few drops of lavender, rosemary, or mint essential oil to castor oil, which enhances the effect, improves the scent, and promotes relaxation. However, castor oil itself is a complete remedy. The key is consistency, attention to the process, and the absence of expectations for instant results. The body recovers slowly, but with a gentle and consistent approach. The effect will not be long in coming. If you notice that it has become easier to stand after using the oil, that your legs feel less tired, and that the sensitivity of your feet has improved, then you are on the right track. The use of castor oil is a safe way to restore sensitivity, improve circulation, and reduce swelling. However, even greater benefits can be obtained by complementing it with simple home measures that enhance the action of the oil and help the body recover faster. Many elderly people believe that nothing will change without medication, but this is not true. Even small daily efforts will yield noticeable results over time, especially if applied regularly and with understanding. First and foremost, this concerns the position of the legs. When you are resting or sitting for a long time, place a roll or pillow under your legs so that they are slightly elevated above the level of the heart. This improves venous drainage, relieves congestion, and helps reduce pressure in the capillaries. This is especially beneficial to do in the evening. Immediately after applying the oil, warmed tissues respond better to changes in position, and fluid drainage occurs more actively. This simple technique is beneficial not only for the legs, but also for the heart, as it reduces its load. The second important point is temperature regulation. Cold is extremely harmful to elderly people, especially for the extremities. If your feet are cold even at home, this may indicate impaired microcirculation. Use warmth and socks, heating pads, and avoid cold floors. Even brief exposure to cold can worsen the condition of nerve fibers, especially if they are already damaged or weakened. With regular warmth, on the contrary, tissues relax, recover, spasms disappear, and sensitivity returns. Do not forget about nutrition. Muscles and nerves require certain substances for recovery, including B vitamins, especially vitamin B1 and vitamin B6, magnesium, fatty acids, and antioxidants. Essential elements can be obtained from the diet, including buckwheat, nuts, fish, spinach, sunflower seeds, and dark chocolate, or additionally through gentle supplements for the elderly. These are not universal pills, but support that helps the body perform functions for which it no longer has sufficient resources. Attention should also be paid to activity. Even if walking is not accessible to you, simple seated exercises, circular movements of the feet, rolling from heel to toe, stretching, and calf muscle exercises improve metabolism in the tissues of the legs. If these exercises are combined with the use of castor oil, the effect can be doubled. Movement enhances the absorption of the oil, and the oil, in turn, softens the tissues and facilitates movement, creating a positive cycle of recovery. And finally, sleep. It is during the night that key processes of nerve tissue recovery occur, so it is important to ensure a calm, warm, and uninterrupted sleep. Do not go to bed with cold feet. This makes it difficult to fall asleep and worsens sleep quality. After the procedure with the oil and light massage, cover your legs, avoid drafts, turn off light sources, and try to go to bed at the same time each night. Sleep is not just rest, it is active recovery, and if you help the body relax before sleep, it will recover faster and more deeply. All of this, combined with castor oil, represents a system of gentle, natural recovery that does not require expensive medications, but does require care, attention, and regularity. Experiencing discomfort in the legs is not just an inconvenience or an age-related feature. It is a quiet but extremely important signal that the body sends when there are changes in the nervous system or circulation. Unfortunately, many elderly people become accustomed to this sensation, consider it normal, and try not to notice it. But this feeling may hide something more serious, from microcirculation disorders to chronic neuropathies, when the legs lack sensitivity. This may be a result of nerve endings being compressed, disrupted blood supply, swelling, or inflammatory processes. For example, in varicose disease, blood flow is impaired, leading to less oxygen and sensations of heaviness and tingling. In diabetic neuropathy, small nerves are damaged, and a person stops feeling the surface of the foot, heat, and cold. This can lead to injuries, ulcers, and other complications if timely measures are not taken. Sometimes these issues are related to the lumbar spine. In cases of hernias or osteochondrosis, nerve roots are compressed, causing discomfort, tingling, burning, and weakness in the legs. All of this is not just discomfort. It is a sign that the nerve is not receiving signals or cannot transmit them. If this persists for a long time, sensitivity may irreversibly decrease. Therefore, it is not advisable to endure and postpone addressing such symptoms. There is another reason that is often underestimated: hypodynamia, meaning a sedentary lifestyle. When a person remains seated for an extended period, especially in one position, blood flow in the legs slows down. This leads to tissues not receiving the necessary nutrients, causing a feeling of heaviness in the legs, tingling, and loss of stability. Over time, this condition not only weakens the muscles, but also disrupts nerve conductivity. The longer this process continues, the harder it becomes to restore the previous sensitivity in the legs. It is particularly concerning when people ignore these symptoms, attributing them to age or believing that it is normal after 60 years old. However, much can be corrected in the early stages. Massage, warming procedures, gentle stimulation, improved blood circulation, and proper nutrition can help if time is not missed. Therefore, it is important to view numbness as a warning rather than an inevitability. If you have started using castor oil, moving more, keeping warm, and resting, and suddenly notice that you feel the ground better under your feet or stumble less, it means you have listened to your body and given it a chance to recover, where previously you had accepted deterioration. Many are curious why castor oil is particularly recommended for people over 60 years old and how it differs from other oils or creams found in pharmacies and stores. The secret lies in the nature of castor oil, its composition, properties, and deep effects on aging skin, disrupted microcirculation, and weakened nerve endings. Firstly, castor oil has a unique ability to penetrate deep into the skin layers and subcutaneous tissue. It is one of the few oils whose molecules are small enough to pass through the stratum corneum and reach the blood vessels, nerves, and muscles. Therefore, it not only softens the surface, but also genuinely influences internal processes, reduces inflammation, improves blood circulation, activates lymphatic flow, and restores tissue trophism. Secondly, castor oil is rich in ricinoleic acid, which has pronounced anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and regenerative properties. This is especially important for elderly individuals, for whom inflammatory processes often become chronic. Joints ache, muscles are tense, and nerves are pinched. Castor oil gently relaxes tissues, alleviates tension, and improves local metabolism without chemicals, irritation, or side effects. It is particularly beneficial in cases of sensitivity impairment. Older individuals often complain that they do not feel the ground, experience heaviness in their legs, and stumble on flat surfaces. These are signs that the nerve endings are not receiving adequate nourishment. Regular use of castor oil stimulates blood supply in areas with reduced sensitivity, nourishing the nerve tissue and restoring its ability to perceive impulses. This process is not quick, but after several weeks of use, one can feel a return of control over movements. It is important not to forget about safety. Castor oil is a natural remedy that has stood the test of time. It does not cause allergic reactions, does not dry out the skin, and does not contain fragrances or preservatives. This is especially relevant for mature skin, which becomes thinner, more sensitive, and prone to irritation with age. The oil does not sting, does not leave greasy marks, and is easily absorbed. You only need to apply a little, rub it in, wrap your legs, and you are already helping your body recover. The ritual of application plays a special role. For elderly people, critical moments when they care for themselves are not about pills or injections, but rather a cozy home procedure. Castor oil gives the feeling that you are doing something gentle, warm, and supportive. It is not just treatment. It is an expression of self-care, a touch. And all of this is just as important as the substance itself, for it is in this approach that true therapy lies. If every day you feel numbness, heaviness, or tingling in your legs, it is not just age. It is a signal from your body that it needs help. Our legs serve us throughout our lives, bearing pain, weight, and fatigue. And when age brings its changes, our legs require special attention. This attention is not always associated with expensive procedures, doctors, or medications. Sometimes, just a few drops of castor oil, a little warmth, care, and a few minutes a day are enough to feel confident again. If you have started doing a warm compress with castor oil before bed, if you are spending more time on gentle massage, if you notice a feeling of warmth and movement, it means you are helping yourself, that you have not given up, but have chosen the path of recovery. And even if improvements are slow, even if the journey seems long, every step is important. For at this age, even the slightest improvements are already a victory. In this video, we did not promise miracles. We did not talk about instant healing, but we discussed real, simple, and accessible methods that truly work. You need to give your body a chance and believe that even after 60, you can regain sensitivity, strength, and confidence in your legs. It all starts with the decision to give yourself a little attention. If you are still in doubt, try it. Take a little castor oil, warm it up, apply it to your legs, give yourself a gentle massage, and cover up with a warm blanket. Repeat this for several evenings, and perhaps within a week you will notice that your legs have become softer, more sensitive, and less tired. This is not magic, but the result of regular care. Remember, Health after 60 is not just about tests or medications. It is the daily little things that either help the body recover or slowly destroy it. And if you choose care, attention, movement, and warmth, you choose a more active, confident, and fulfilling life. If this video has been helpful to you, please share it with someone who may need it. If you liked the video, support it and subscribe so you do not miss helpful recommendations that can change your life or the lives of your loved ones for the better. If you watched the video to the end, leave a 1 in the comments. If it did not make an impression, please write 0. Your opinion is very important to me and helps improve the content. Remember that every small step matters, and it is never too late to start taking care of yourself. Thank you for being with me.